Counting of votes is underway here in India. Let's take a look at some of the celebrities who are faring in these elections. Bollywood star and BJP's Kangana Ranaut is ahead in Himachal Pradesh. Ramayan fame Arun Govil of BJP is leading in Uttar Pradesh. Meerut veteran actor Malini surges ahead in UP's Mathura. Congress's Raj Babbar gains a healthy lead in Gurugram, that's in Haryana.
All right, let's also now take a quick listen to what some of the leaders are in fact saying as the numbers are of course trickling in of how the parties have performed. Let's listen to what is being said.
The lead that BJP has received in Mandi is commendable. The shame that the opposition tried to bring to the daughters of the country has not been welcomed in Mandi. This is my birthplace and I will thrive to serve the people here. I will work towards Prime Minister Modi's dream of development for all.
If Congress crosses the mark of 100 Lok Sabha seats, India Alliance will come into power. The Congress party could even reach the mark of 150 Lok Sabha seats. If Congress emerges as the biggest party, the Prime Minister will be from the Congress party. It is the wish of the nation that Rahul Gandhi should lead the nation.
India Bloc is performing well right now. But like I said, this is only the beginning. The exit polls in the initial picture that was painted earlier is failing 100%.
Our motivation and our courage has increased over the results. These numbers show that the public has faith in us. In the next 2 hours, the final count will be clear and we will know the results.
There is no close fight. 3 things are clear. Number 1, NDA is forming the government. Number 2, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scripting history by swearing in as a Prime Minister for the 3rd time. Number 3, Congress will still remain to sit on the opposition benches.
The Congress support. All right, so these are some of the images that we are getting of the Congress supporters who seem to be celebrating at this moment. Remember, the Congress has not won the election. It's just that they've managed to come ahead and are putting up a big fight. But that itself feels like a victory to a lot of the Congress voters. And also on this broadcast, we're being joined by Mr. Harish Bijur, who is, of course, a brand strategist. And he's joining us live on this broadcast. Mr. Bijur, this is an election that none of the pollsters seem to have predicted. The BJP on its own is falling short of a majority, although the NDA can form a government. But we are now, it appears, entering into some uncharted territory for the Bharatiya Janata Party. What is your reaction on the numbers that have come out so far?
Well, I think these are still early times because, I'd give it another 45 minutes before saying that, the election is going in someone's way. But the interesting set of points I see are as follows. 1, exit polls, not always right. Much of the time, part of the imagination kit flows out. And this imagination kit actually exposes only a small percentage of the electorate. And the silent majority is what never speaks. The second point is that I do believe it looks like the Congress is back in the game. The Congress cannot be wiped out in totality. And I think that's the message that's coming through. The third point, and the last one I'd like to state at this point of time, is the fact that there is a story in the margins. The winning margins are going to tell us what the situation really is. But importantly, we could definitely say at this point of time that, it's first past the post in our elections. And I think that's going to rule. And by that standard, if one looks at trends, the BJP the NDA seems to be ahead, and PM Modi seems to be getting back once again onto the seat at this point of time. Caveat.
Right. Mr. Bijur, you said in about 45 minutes there will be a little more clarity. I might take you up on that. But let's talk about the BJP that you were saying. First, BJP had said that they will hit the 400 mark. Then a few weeks into it, they said the NDA will hit the 400 mark. And the 400 par slogan that has become famous this time. I want to ask you, all the exit polls gave the NDA government a re-election. either ways, even if it doesn't hit the 400 mark or even if it does, they were coming to power according to the exit polls. Why do you think this 400 mark was so important for the BJP and the NDA?
You see, political parties start a campaign with a slogan, and a slogan is very important. And for the Bharatiya Janata Party, going from one number to another number, which is certainly higher than what you got the last time round, is always a goal. And I think a slogan is typically to charge up the internal party dynamics. Char So Par is a terrific slogan, for sure, if you look at it. Of course, it got whittled down to the number of the NDA together. And then, of course, at this point of time, it doesn't look like that number is going to be achievable. The key issue on numbers and slogans is that it is to whip up the internal party mechanics. The external party mechanics are totally left to the electorate, and the electorate, as we call it, Jan Janardhan.
Now, Mr. Bijur, you are a brand consultant. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has in fact been winning elections essentially on brand Modi. If these numbers stand, how much do you think that will impact brand Modi in Indian politics?
Well, I'll put it this way. I don't believe, if PM Modi comes back as the next Prime Minister of this country, I don't think it will impact the image of PM Modi at all. But what it does is, it does terrific things to the image of the opposition, the image of the India alliance. It says that Rahul Gandhi is a very important and significant player in India, and it does not decimate him at all. And that is the point. But PM Modi's image, I don't think anything goes wrong with that.
All right, interesting. Now, for the last 10 years, what we've been witnessing is irrespective of how the price of tomatoes, onions, petrol and cooking gas had gone up, the BJP had been pretty secure about its voter base. Do you think this election and these numbers now show that the price of onion and the price of LPG has again become relevant to Indian politics?
Oh, yes. Inflation, particularly inflation that bites into the purse of the common man. Consumption basket of what you eat, if the quality of that has gone down, suddenly lentils go out of your consumption basket and in comes a basic staple item, which is ragi. It's not great because, this pinch is felt by everyone eating every meal every single day. And LPG is that accoutrement item, which actually helps you, cook all this stuff up. And therefore, inflation is a big thing. The price of onion, the price of tomatoes, the price of LPG. They're key issues. You cannot forget this at all.
Mr. Bijur, you are a brand strategist, and something that we saw in this year's election, much more than the previous elections, was the use of social media. Now, not just the BJP, the Congress, in fact, AAP, some of their reels went viral. And a lot of this is to do with the first-time voters and the young voters specifically, because that's the huge margin that we see on social media platforms. Do you think, in your assessment, any of the parties were able to capitalize on it?
Well, I'll put it this way. Firstly, my belief in social media is going down and down and down over the years. I've been a champion of social media for a long period of time, but I'm saying this out at this point of time to say that the credibility of social media has gone, awry. And therefore, social media is getting to be a medium which people are watching but not believing. And I think the moment that happens, any messaging, any kind of a messaging that any political party takes on it, not going to make an impact. There's something called a media that is much more real. And that media is possibly traditional media, back to the good old ways, curated media with an editor curating a medium. And there's a bigger medium than that. And the biggest medium is the grassroots medium of what you, I, and everyone else in India watches, sees, and feels. The price of tomatoes we spoke about, LPG prices, that's real media. At the end of the day, the real medium is what pinches the pocket of the common man.
All right, very interesting. That does appear to be how things are panning out. Now, Mr. Bijur, one quick question here. Now, one of the things that the Prime Minister had been talking about a lot in the last 10 years is he wanted to create a Congress Mukt Bharat. A lot of people said that if he wants to create a Congress Mukt Bharat, that would effectively mean that he wants an opposition Mukt Bharat. So is this the return of the opposition in Indian politics?
I definitely believe that this election is going to see the return of the opposition in Indian politics. And I think it's a very healthy thing to happen. I don't believe even the BJP wants an opposition Mukt Bharat. I don't believe, because, we are a large democracy. In a democracy, a thriving opposition is very, very important. And I think this election says it all, that there is nothing called a dash Mukt Bharat. Nobody must want it and nobody will get it.
All right, Mr. Biju, thank you so much for joining us here on WION and getting us all those insights.
Thank you.